Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023 was enacted and has been, going on. Now, one of the major, apart from establishing a Nigerian Data Protection Commission that will oversee everything that has to do with data regulation and ensuring that there's compliance, because we can talk about data privacy and all of that. If there's no one to police the data controllers, those who process data, then it's just one of those regular laws. We have a lot of laws. You'll be amazed. We actually have a lot of laws in Nigeria, but no enforcement. That's a big challenge for us. So one of the beauty of this 2023 Act is talking about the right of the data subjects. Now, the data subjects are those people, or just individuals, you and I, everybody whose data is being processed, your personal data, and it cuts across all industry. Okay, now, for instance, we have our new members here. They asked to introduce themselves, right? My name is Nkechi. By telling us your name already, you have given us the data. If you give us your surname, we'll dig deeper. By the time I have your phone number, so as you're giving us information about yourself, your personal information, you're giving us, you're exposing your data. So, and that's why the law seeks to protect us. Now, one of the rights of the data subject is the right to information. So it's not just enough to give out your data. The person collecting your data, who is known as a data, controller or processor, that person must inform you the purpose for which your data is being collected. So you have a right to know, why do you want my information, my personal information? I need to know about it. Because people collect information, and what do they do with it? They use it for different purposes. What if those information were being collected for criminal purposes? How do you even know? How do you even protect yourself? So in the law, it says that the person who is asking you for your information must give you the reason for that. Tell me why you're collecting my information, and then you must obtain the consent. You have a right to give a consent or withhold it. So nobody can compel you to say you must give this information. If you take an instance, Blessing told us her name, and we asked her law firm. She said she just smiled, and for now she does not want to reveal it. So she has a right to say no. You can't say you can't actually compel her to reveal that information. There must be a reason why she does not want to. So she has a right to withhold her consent. She has a right to give her consent. And also, as you're collecting this data, you must also understand that the law says that the person has a right to access it. So I have given my information. I can come and say, I want to have access to it. Perhaps there's something I discovered that I shouldn't have given to you. I want to have a right to actually review that information I've given to you and see if I can take out some and then leave some. So you cannot refuse them the first time. Although there are sometimes some people require information that they have given to you, and the process of retrieving them would require some some resources. You understand? And it may involve financial, yes. So what will happen is that the first time you have to give to them free of charge. If they come again and you have to spend money to retrieve all this information, this individual resources, then you can charge subsequently. But they have a right to demand access to the information they have given to you. And they also have a right to rectify those information. To say, I'm giving you this information, I want to make correction. Maybe, for instance, there's an error in the information given in trying to spell. You know how it is, you type something and the system formats it, especially when they don't recognize some of those data that they are computing. So let's say you are filling an online form and you feel that your name is Nkechi Bani Gororo, Tane Gororo. And then the system, computer, feels that there's an error because it's not used to our indigenous names, and then change it to Nkechi Mango. That's not your information. You have the right to say, I'm sorry, can I make this correction? So you cannot refuse the person, if you're that data controller or processor, you cannot refuse that data subject the right to rectify their information. It is their personal data. So at any point in time, you have to ensure that. And then also in processing, you have to be very careful when you carry on with your. I would like to, as I mentioned this, I read down the section somewhere. I would like to refer so that we can read up later. Sorry, I'm checking my laptop. But nevertheless, so for the right to information, please check section 24 of the NDPA. And then, that information you're collecting, make sure, like I said, it's in clear language, and you must mention to the person at the point where you are. You may say, okay, maybe it's physical. What about those who fill online forms as well? You're filling your information and all of that. The law says that you must put in your website. It's not enough for you to say take consent. So some people have gone ahead to ensure that there's even a signature part that you sign, append your signature. It could be in initials, it could be in the form of your signature, indicating that you have actually given your consent. They are doing that because if you are someone who processes data, you must be careful to also protect yourself from legal consequences, because there are penalties when you don't follow this, and there's a fine attached to it, very huge, 10 million naira or 2% of your gross income. So you can imagine that you breach this thing. Now, most of us are aware of what happened recently. MTN data was breached. I didn't even know. It was 2 days ago I saw it on a friend's WhatsApp around 10:30 p.m. I was browsing through updates, and I said, my God. In fact, I just said, really help me. Because if I'm actually managing people's information, and I can't imagine if, God forbid, there's an exposure. I know a lot of people come for me, and I don't have 10 million somewhere to pay a fine. So the law says you have to actually be careful, process in such a way that you protect yourself. What do? Encryption. You must encrypt. So let us. Then the right to access, section 26. Please look at it. That you can request for and also obtain copies of your personal information. The right to rectification, section 27. That you can request to make corrections or give complete information. The right to erasure, yes. As you give out that section 28, as you are giving out your information, you can actually go and say, you know what, I don't want again. Come out and remove it, forget me, like bury my information. 6 years ago, I didn't know that every time we type in our information, let's say you're using an ATM card to buy something online, whatever you do, everything is even on Facebook. I was browsing through Facebook one day, and I said, let me just go through my information. I saw that every activity, I found out about this during the COVID period, when someone had put up that during the training, and I went to actually check, and it was true. Every debit card I've ever used was there on Facebook. How? These things are actually intertwined. Not to talk now that Meta and Facebook and WhatsApp are together. So you can actually post directly to WhatsApp, to Facebook, to Instagram at the same time. In fact, we are all exposed. It's just by God's grace that we are not, we haven't, so the right to remain. Now, I know Google has this policy where you can actually film. Most of them, even I think WhatsApp too. I'm not sure about WhatsApp. But I know about Google that you can actually, there's a place in Google that you can go and say you want your information to be wiped off. They can't deny you that. If you request for that, you have a right to actually have that erased, cleared until you decide to come back again. And if they refuse, you can actually sue them, because some people use this for marketing. Even those who do email marketing, want to send this data to your contacts. Most people do that because, I know us things, so I can just send information. Us may not like it, and can actually sue you. So those of us who do email marketing, newsletters, and all of that, you must seek consent. And you must have an option where people can opt out. And you must make it very easy for them. You can't just say, fill information, and you get it so easily. And when I want to opt out, you make it difficult for me. No. And you cannot even say that it must be an automated system, whereby it's the AI now that will attend to me. Meanwhile, you got all my information. There must be a human person that I can interface with. The law makes it very important as well. And then, in fact, the rest are just too much. Anyway, right data portability. You know, there's this cross-border transfer, or you want to port from one network to another, or you want to go from one back to another. You may request that your information be transferred, and in doing that transfer, there must be an encryption. The beauty of this law is that this right of your data transfer and transfer portability, because our president is from within Nigeria. If you're a Nigerian citizen living abroad, and that's what this has actually done for us. And then the right to withdraw, say I don't want again, you can actually have the right to withdraw your consent, and that is covered under section 25 of the Act. And then you have a right to lodge complaint where there's a breach. I know a lot of people are going to sue MTN because their data has been exposed. Already MTN, people are complaining that their tariffs are high, that they are actually, you know, this. In fact, this month alone, I've loaded data God knows how many times. If I could say, Jack, everything is gone. If I can load data of 1.5 gig and to last for a month and even roll over. But now, just try it in less than 1 week, it's gone. Yes. You know, I'm telling you, people are complaining so much, and then we listen again, the exposure. We reached out to MTN for something, and they said, oh, they are going through some losses, that 2023, 2024 was really bad for them in the market. They made a lot of loss. So with all this is happening now, be sure that some people will sue. And the law says if you are running a business, it's not just for those who have business and a large data collector. Even you as a small business owner, you know, you must ensure that you have that in place. Put all those things. That's why you go to some websites, some people already have, in fact, one of the things that will pop out is their data privacy policy. They will tell you, this is how we collect your data, this is how we process it, and all of that. The law says you must make it very clear. But see, most times we don't read. And then you see, you go to the banks too, you're trying to fill a form. They will make that section very tiny that you can. Once you don't, because if you the bad thing is that if you don't give your consent, you're not allowed to go to the next page. So you are forced. I'm just praying that somebody will come up with a way to navigate through that, whereby they want you to give out some information which you don't want to give out, and they insist that if you don't fill it in, you can't move to the next page, and if you don't agree, you cannot have the access. So they have coined a way to cage us so that we give out that information. But then again, in doing that, we have to ensure that at every point in time, we are monitoring. So those policies, when you click on them to say, okay, let's see how they collect data, how they process it, they make it so voluminous that you get to a point to give up. So, well, let me just sign, may God protect us, it is well. You know, that's our common language. But you see, it's something you have to take very important. If we are collecting data from people, processing it, please make sure that you have these policies in place. Know that they have rights, they can demand that their information, you have to tell them. If you fail, if they can establish that you never saw their consent and you went ahead, then you can be sued. And if you are sued, 10 million naira or 2% of your total gross. Where do you have that? It's not best that you ensure that you put all these things in place and protect your business, protect the person. So as you collect data in the church, last year I wrote an article about the church itself. The church is one place that data is flying around. People come to church, want to know about, you ask them for their name, their address, email, and so many information. And then you see that sometimes, even society, they don't manage it well. It's just exposed. So we need to let the people know that it's important that they protect people's privacy. You're asking for my house address, what are you doing with it? What are you looking for? You go somewhere, you fill information. You know, I gave an example yesterday where I was talking at a webinar, how I went to a hospital and somebody's information was exposed. I was calling for a lab, for my blood samples to be taken. And the lab practitioner said, excuse me, and he went out. But he forgot to shut down the system. I saw information of a particular man. Or his house address, everything about him, his phone number, email, and the fact that he has HIV, and the wife is not even aware. So imagine me, I snap that information. Every detail of this man, I have it. The first thing that came to my mind was, can you imagine, no confidentiality. The law speaks about confidentiality. So you can imagine, I want to make money, sharp babe, and I snap and say, okay, I have information. I begin to blackmail him, and if you don't give me money, you know, this is how it happens. So imagine this breach has happened in MTN and other things. So if you are someone, we are lawyers. As I round up now, we are lawyers. It's important that, because when clients come, you ask them for all their information, details, or people come to us with information and want to represent them. You're asking for different things, maybe their bank details, just to process and prepare your case in court. And you have people who work with you, or maybe you work alone. If you carry your file home, you have to be careful how you expose this information, because somebody may just, a stranger, someone can just come. Let's say some people knows when they come to your house or office, they just want to know. And you go, let me know, let me monitor and see what's going on. And they snap and now these are happening. And then you begin to, because someone can sue you because you do not protect. So you have to have a system where the information is encrypted. Nobody have access to it. Some people don't have password on their phones. This is not about hiding private information, no. It's about protecting data. We are lawyers. People will come to us, whether it's one client you have or two people that you are managing, and your briefs are very large for those people. Protect their information. Everything they tell you, protect it. Whether they are confiding in you about something, protect it. It's their personal information, so that nobody sues you. And then also be careful. Be sure that nobody's recording information when you are with them. You have to, find a way. There's many tools to do that. So that is about the rights of the data subject, and what we too must do to protect our own information. Thank you very much.